Good morning. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. As we begin our event today, before we get into it, I want to acknowledge it's with a continued incredibly heavy heart that we all go about our days and doing the things we're doing with a great awareness of the tremendous tragedy in Texas of the young lives that are lost. I dropped my kids off for school this morning, just like I did yesterday, and there's that moment of pause where you don't want to let them get out of the car. And the reality that kids should not live in fear of going to school. As an agency at MTS, we move a lot of kids. We just launched Youth Opportunity Pass. And there's a lot of school-age kids that use our system. Our bus drivers see them. Our folks on the platform see them. And we take great care as an agency to make sure we move them safely and responsibly. And I think as a society, we need to have that same commitment to make sure that kids are safe and make sure we do responsible things to protect them. And so I'd like us to begin our press conference this morning just with a brief moment of silence in recognition of the tremendous heart-wrenching loss that our nation is grappling with right now. Thank you. You know, a few weeks ago in South Bay, we broke ground on the very first large-scale electric overhead charger in the state, one of the very first in all of North America. And as an agency at MTS, we take tremendous pride in being on the front edge and being a leader in the adoption of zero-emission electric bus fleets. And today we're here because we're taking another step forward right here in downtown San Diego. And I want to highlight we're only able to do what we were doing here because of the leadership of Congressman Scott Peters. Scott Peters secured $750,000 in federal funding to rebuild our Imperial Avenue division for a greener future as a zero-emission bus facility. And at the local level, we're often tasked with implementing and coming up with how we make things work. But what we need are our federal leaders who go and fight and advocate for us at the federal level. And Congressman Scott Peters has a long history with MTS. Knows MTS as an agency, has been so instrumental in so many things that have happened from the Mid-Coast extension. Time and again has stepped forward and really demonstrated leadership to make sure that our local agencies are taken care of and make sure we get the funding we need. And Congressman, we want to thank you on behalf of MTS for fighting for us, for advocating for us. You have a lot of demands and a lot of constituencies that come to you. But on behalf of the employees and all the passengers of MTS, we want to say thank you for prioritizing us and what we're here to do, and we're really appreciative of your efforts. Thank you. 3 years ago, we started a journey at MTS standing right here in this yard. In this very yard 3 years ago, we announced our transition where we would get our entire bus fleet to zero emission by 2040. And today we're here marking another tremendous milestone in that effort. But MTS is not on this journey alone. We are here with tremendous support. We are here alongside all of the dedicated employees and workers at MTS, and I want to thank each and every one of you for everything you do to make our agency function, to every role and piece that you play. And so let's give a special thank you to all of our MTS workers who are here with us. In particular, I want to recognize IBEW, who's here with us here, Local 465, our unionized electricians and workers who are here. We appreciate your leadership in pushing the transition and all the work you're doing, so thank you all. You know, in order to have an electric bus fleet, you've got to have the infrastructure to make it work. And this $750,000 in federal funding that Congressman Peters has been able to bring home is helping us build more charging stations right here in downtown San Diego. The charging stations we will build here are going to be similar to those that are under construction at our facility in Chula Vista. This Imperial Avenue bus division currently supports 600 high-paying, quality union jobs right here in San Diego, and the new infrastructure added will require skilled personnel to maintain and repair that equipment. The buses that will be charged on this system need specialized mechanics familiar with electrical drivetrains and with battery systems, and we will continue to train and add staff as our bus fleet grows. The overhead system will allow us to maximize our land use and keep as many buses as possible out in the system serving customers. But the investment in infrastructure is not just the stuff you get. It is the good jobs, the good union jobs that allow San Diegans to take care of their family, to buy a home, and have a secure and safe retirement. And that is a huge part of infrastructure investment that sometimes gets lost. It's not just the stuff. It is the people that go into building that and maintaining that and making that work. And obviously, this is another milestone. Going back to December 2019, when we launched our zero emission bus pilot program, one of the first agencies in the state to do it. In October 2020, we adopted a transition plan to completely eliminate tailpipe emissions and convert our entire fleet to zero emission. Last year, I'm very proud as an agency, last year we retired the last diesel bus out of the MTS fleet, turning the page into a much cleaner and eco-friendly future and continuing to be on the cutting edge is something that has been in MTS's history all the way back in 1981, the first modern light rail system in North America, the all-electric San Diego trolley, and we will continue to lead and push, and we're grateful for all of our partners. And I'd like to give an opportunity for you to hear from a few of them today. And so we will begin with Congressman Scott Peters. Again, our incredible appreciation for your efforts at the federal level and your work, and we're very grateful for it here locally. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It's great to be here with you today, and I want to just say I also want to recognize the shadow that's over us today with respect to what happened in Uvalde, Texas. 21 souls now rest in heaven after being killed in a school, a place where children and staff are supposed to feel safest outside of their homes, share the anger, the frustration, the devastation that all of us feel. And these feelings are particularly acute when I think of what we should be doing in Washington, and what I'll go back to fight to continue to do. So thank you for recognizing that. I also want to say what an honor it is to be able to participate in bringing resources back to my community when you have such leadership as this. You heard the whole litany of things that have happened at MTS. I was actually on MTS when it was the Metropolitan Transit Development Board. That was sometime in the last century, I think, or nearly the last century. But you all have done such tremendous work here, and we have to file applications for that money. It's not like I just go get a check. I have to compete against other things around the country. Consistently, the projects that we get out of San Diego County, out of the city, out of MTS, are worthy of funding, and that's what the nation has said. It's said we recognize the quality leadership here, quality of the work that's being done. And I have to say, this lady over here, when you said the last diesel bus, she had a smile on her face. It looked like she was so proud to be rid of it. I was very, yeah, right? So it's good. It's all good. Anyway, so I want to talk today about the federal funding package for fiscal year 2022 and how we'll help MTS achieve this goal of a zero-emission future as it modernizes this bus fleet. Nathan, again, thanks for your leadership here at MTS, as well as we're going to have a representative from the labor force behind this project, Christina Marquez from IBW Local 569, and Carolina Martinez from the Environmental Health Coalition, where she's the Climate Justice Director. And I also want to recognize Nate Fairman and the work of IBEW Local 465, as well as the mechanics and operators for literally being the driving force behind these vehicles at MTS. Investing in the buses around us and the infrastructure to keep them running was made possible by community project funding, once known as earmarks. I'm not supposed to say that, but that will help you understand what we're talking about. For the first time in years, the House Appropriations Committee accepted project funding requests to allow members of Congress to target federal funds towards specific projects and programs in our congressional district. We feel like we have some role in deciding where that money should go. We know our district's the best. We know we're going to do really good things with this investment. After a rigorous selection process, 7 projects from the district I represent were included in the federal funding package, bringing a total of $5,800,000 to California's 52nd district. And I advocated for these projects because they address some of the most significant needs of our communities. And today, as we stand near one of San Diego's busiest transit stations, we celebrate the progress and momentum behind the Imperial Avenue Division Zero Bus Emission Infrastructure Project. As MTS upgrades its bus divisions, $750,000 in community project funding will go toward the design phase of building the necessary infrastructure to charge and operate these zero-emission buses. During my time in Congress, I've been fortunate to pass a lot of bills and get signed into law bills that target climate change and harmful greenhouse gas emissions. And what strengthens my work in D.C. is the initiative and vision that starts right here. I rely on San Diego's progress as evidence of what we can build from the ground up. I boast about you all the time, all the stuff that you do and all the successes that you have. So when MTS set out to reach its transition of its bus fleet to all zero-emission vehicles by 2040 and reached out to my office for support, of course I said yes, absolutely. MTS is constantly improving its operations, the way they move San Diegans from point A to point B, and working to reduce their emissions to coincide with our climate goals. And I look forward to a continued partnership that produces results for San Diego now and in the future. I hope you ask me for more money next year.
We will.
Thanks very much, and I hope we can bring it home. Congratulations to you all. Thanks, Nathan.